High harmony seekers. Let's take a moment to really soak in the peacefulness of this time. I want you to reflect on a time in your life when you experienced a unique mix of strength and vulnerability. You know, that feeling of being powerful, yet incredibly fragile at the same time. It's interesting how we all have this duality within us. And you know what's even more profound? It's the fact that people who are caught up in conflicts, like our soldiers, experience this duality on a daily basis. The war between Gaza and Israel has not only created physical borders, but it has also built emotional walls between people. It's tough being far from the epicenter, but we can't help but feel anxious for our loved ones caught in the crossfire. Our spirits really resonate with all the worry. Just thinking about it can be really scary. But what about the people who wear the uniform? What kind of battles do they fight within themselves, even as they remain strong on the battlefield? There's this soldier named David. As he's getting ready for another day in the field, he starts tightening the laces of his boots and notices that his hands are trembling a bit. He wasn't scared of the enemy, but it was the locket around his neck that really got to him. Inside was a picture of his precious daughter, smiling without a care in the world, completely oblivious to the chaos of gunfire that had become her father's reality. The essence of a soldier's heart is a beautiful blend of strength and vulnerability where duty and love come together. Today, we're going right into the heart of it all. We're going to talk about the stories of duty and personal beliefs, the love that holds them together, and the violence that puts them to the test. I've got two really touching stories for you. These stories are going to give you a special peek into their world. As we go through their stories, we'll realize the amazing benefits of meditation that's specifically designed for them. These meditation practices' goal is to help them find some much-needed peace during these challenging times. I wanted to talk about the dualities that soldiers often experience. It's really interesting how they have to navigate between different aspects of their lives. Something really interesting about being human is that we all experience this thing called duality. It's like this fundamental part of who we are. Joy and sorrow, love and loss, peace and conflict. These are the different colors that make up the picture of our lives. A soldier's journey is definitely filled with profound dualities too. But you know what's interesting? Their contrasts are actually made even more intense by the unique circumstances they have to deal with every single day. There's this soldier who undergoes training to safeguard his nation, its values, and its people. They willingly take on this duty, which is quite a heavy responsibility. But you know what's interesting? Beneath that uniform, there's actually a whole person with their own personal beliefs that might not always align perfectly with their assigned missions. It's kind of fascinating, don't you think? I remember this really interesting story that was shared by a soldier named Malik. He grew up listening to all these amazing stories about compassion, unity, and how everyone's destinies are connected. But you know, there were times when he had to do things that went against the very nature of those stories. It wasn't because he had anything against them personally, but because it was his duty. The struggle between what he was taught and what he truly believed in was just as tough as any outside fight. On one hand, soldiers are like protectors, always standing guard. But deep down, they also yearn to be with their loved ones, to experience the warmth and comfort of home. As they dodge each bullet and make progress, they can't help but think of the good times, the laughter, bedtime stories, and the comforting hugs from loved ones. Lena is also a soldier. There are countless nights that she would gaze at the stars from her post. The stars your children would see from their bedroom window are the same ones. She was talking about how strange and unsettling her life felt. On one hand, there was the chaos and noise of war. And on the other hand, she would sing peaceful lullabies to her children. Every medal and badge of honor that a soldier earns isn't just about showing off their bravery. It's also a way for them to remember all the battles they've made it through. Not all scars can be seen. These scars are the things that really stick with them. They're like imprinted on their soul, in places that no award or recognition can ever fully heal. Also, we can't forget about Aaron, an officer. You know, even with all his accomplishments, he couldn't shake off the painful memory of a friend he couldn't save. The war cries still echoed in his mind, and the silence that followed was just deafening. His medals were a way to acknowledge his bravery, but they also hid the scars of battles he couldn't win, and the friendships he had to let go. It's really fascinating and emotional how a soldier's life can be so full of contrasts. They're like a perfect mix of strength and vulnerability, duty and love, honor and loss, all rolled into one. It's important to recognize that this helps us view them not only as warriors of the battlefield, but also as warriors of the heart, as we observe and experience life together. It's important for us to take on the sacred duty of understanding and empathizing with one another. Soldiers, just like all of us, are dealing with a complex mix of emotions, even in situations that many of us can't fully understand. Let's talk about the deep duality that exists in a soldier's life. It's like a mirror that shows us just how complex and diverse the human experience can be. When we talk about soldiers, it's so tempting to get caught up in their uniforms, the cool equipment they have, and all the obvious signs of war. But deep down, they're basically just like us, filled with the same emotions we all experience. When we see a soldier, we usually notice their incredible strength. You can really see the discipline, resilience, and courage shining through in this situation. But you know what? Inside this fortress of strength, there's actually a soft heart that keeps all sorts of memories, dreams, and fears. Imagine a mom who is incredibly strong for her kids, even when things get tough. But at the same time, she's also very vulnerable because of how much she loves them. When it comes to soldiers, their strength on the battlefield is really connected to their vulnerabilities. Like, they have this intense love for their comrades, that longing for home, and the weight of all their responsibilities. It's all part of what makes them who they are. They're called to duty, asking them to protect, serve, and stand tall. What about love? Love is such a powerful feeling, isn't it? It brings back memories of those beautiful summer days, those special moments with family, and even the joy of witnessing a child's first steps. Soldiers learn this balance through a dance, sometimes the hard way. It's really important for us regular folks to be able to recognize this dance. When we do that, we can see beyond just the soldier and recognize their humanity. We see the dad, the sister, the friend, and the partner. Every time a soldier is honored, there's always a story behind it. There's so much more to those medals and accolades than meets the eye. Behind all the glory, there are stories of sacrifice, moments of doubt, and incredible displays of sheer determination. And let's not forget the heartache of loss that can come with it all. Just like how we celebrate our achievements and feel disappointed by our failures, soldiers also experience moments of pride and sorrow. So, what can we do as regular people who aren't directly involved in the battle? First of all, we should make an effort to educate ourselves by going beyond sensational headlines and searching for stories that focus on the human side of conflicts. Another thing we can do is have conversations that promote understanding and empathy instead of creating divisions. And you know what? It's really important that we make room in our hearts and minds for all the people who have been affected by this conflict. We need to recognize their experiences, their challenges, and their hopes for the future. Basically, when we really take the time to understand what a soldier's life is like, we not only make their experience more relatable, but we also develop a greater sense of compassion and empathy. It helps us see that every soldier is just like us, trying to navigate through the challenges of life. The alleys of Gaza were filled with a vibrant energy that you could feel, showing the incredible resilience of its people. There was this woman named Yasmin, and let me tell you, her eyes were something else. They had this youthful sparkle, but you could also see that she had experienced so much in her life. She was a soldier by choice and a guardian at heart, always balancing between the tough realities of the world and the gentle dreams she held dear. Her younger brother, Sami, was this really bright-eyed boy who was only 10 years old. Yasmin's parents, who were victims of a past conflict, had entrusted her with the responsibility and made a promise to protect him from life's challenges. Every evening, when the sun painted Gaza's sky with beautiful golden colors, Sami would excitedly wait for Yasmin to come back, hoping to hear stories of bravery and optimism. But that evening was unlike any other. Yasmin was feeling heavy-hearted from everything that had happened during the day. She was called for duty. She doesn't even have a change to say goodbye to Sami. She was quickly being sent to a truck that transport her to the front line. A few days later, at the front line, she had a pen in her hands, and it was capturing all her emotions on paper with its ink. She wrote a letter for Sami. "Hey Sami, guess what? Today, I saw this amazing bird. Its wings were just like the beautiful blue sky, and it was flying so freely. It made me think of you and how much I want you to experience that same sense of freedom. Every time I face a gunshot or a dangerous situation, it's like taking a step closer to creating a world where you, my dear brother, can pursue your dreams without the fear of war hanging over us." She was telling Sami about the children she met during her patrols. Their laughter was echoing through the ruins, and she said it was such a powerful testament to hope. "These children, Sami, they're actually you, and I do everything I do for them, for you." She finished writing with tears on the paper, saying, "Let's cherish our memories and dreams, because in them, there's a promise of a future without conflict. Until then, take comfort in knowing that I'm fighting every battle for a world where you can simply be a boy with dreams as vast as the skies." Yasmin's heartfelt letter really shows how she has different sides to her personality. She was right in the middle of all the action as a soldier, seeing the devastating effects of conflict up close. But deep down, she also had the heart of a protective sister who just wanted her beloved sibling to have a normal life. Even with all the big political stuff happening, there are still personal stories and dreams that often go unnoticed. Yasmin's story is more than just about being a soldier in a conflict zone. It's a powerful reminder of the universal emotions we all experience: love, protection, and hope. It's calling us to change how we see things. You know, it's important to remember that behind all those headlines and statistics, there are real people with dreams and desires, just like you and me. This is an invitation for you to step into their shoes, to really feel what they're feeling, and in doing so, develop a deeper understanding and empathy. When we acknowledge our shared humanity, we're taking the first step towards building connections based on compassion and peace. Let me tell you another story that happens right in the heart of Israel. Surrounded by all the hustle and bustle of the cities and historic landmarks, there was this peaceful little corner that Eli would always escape to. He was born into a family with a rich military legacy. So, you can imagine the pressure and sense of honor he felt. But you know what? His heart danced to a different rhythm, the one his grandmother Miriam taught him. Miriam, this incredible Holocaust survivor, went through some really tough times and saw some truly awful things. However, she also saw how amazing people can be and how they can overcome anything. She would often tell Eli stories about her youth, not just the painful parts, but also the moments of kindness, the glimmers of hope, the songs they shared, and the prayers they whispered. So, There was this really intense fight going on, with all the chaos and noise of war happening all around Eli. And in the midst of it all, he decided to find shelter in this empty building. He had this small, worn-out prayer book in the pocket of his uniform. It was actually a cherished gift from Miriam. As he opened it, he quietly said a prayer, not one asking for victory, but for something deeper, for understanding. He longed for a world where children from different faiths and backgrounds could come together and play under the shade of the same olive tree, sharing laughter and joy. After Eli finished his quiet time of reflection, he wrote down his thoughts in a diary. It was his own special place where he could figure out how to balance being a soldier with pursuing his personal dreams. Today, he said, in the midst of all the noise and chaos, I took a moment to pray. I'm not asking for myself, but for a future where we can hear laughter instead of gunshots. I have this dream of a world where we can all come together and share our stories. Not as enemies, but as fellow travelers on this crazy journey called life. Eli's story really makes me think about the internal conflicts that so many soldiers have to deal with. Even though the world sees them as these symbols of strength and bravery, deep down, they have this hidden world where they dream of peace and harmony. It's something they don't always show to everyone. The way he connected with Miriam and the stories she told helped bring together the terrible things that happened in the past and the dreams we have for the future. They really emphasize how conflicts tend to repeat themselves over time, but they also show how things can change for the better. They highlight the possibility of understanding and unity. Eli's silent prayer and his written reflections really show how powerful it can be to have personal goals and dreams. It's interesting how geopolitical landscapes can influence wars. But at the end of the day, it's really the hearts and minds of individuals that hold the power to shape peace. Eli's narrative really makes me think about myself. It's all about encouraging us to question the stories we hear, the opinions we form, and the labels we make. I think it's important to acknowledge the dreams we all have in common, the goals that go beyond borders, and the fact that deep down, we all want love, understanding, and peace. Soldiers in the midst of war often find comfort in those rare moments of peace, when they can just take a breath and find solace within themselves. How about we try out a meditation practice that's perfect for them? It's actually great for everyone, especially if you're feeling worried about your loved ones in conflict zones. So, let's talk about setting the intention. Step 1. Find a quiet space. Just find a comfy spot, whether it's on a chair or the floor, and make sure your back is upright but relaxed. Close your eyes for a moment. Let's take a moment to set an intention for this meditation, shall we? Maybe it's just a longing for peace, understanding, or even just a little break. Step 2. Just focus on your breath for a moment. Just let the natural rhythm flow without any effort to alter it. Take a moment to notice the cool air as it enters your nostrils and fills your lungs. And as you exhale, feel the warm air leaving your body. Imagine this breath as a way to stay grounded and connected to the present moment. Step 3. Start by focusing your attention on your toes and gradually move your attention up through your body. As you're doing this, just let go of any tension or stress you might be holding on to. Just picture it melting away and feel the peace and calm taking its place. Step 4. Now, imagine a beautiful glowing light right in the middle of your chest where your heart is. As you take each breath, imagine this beautiful light growing bigger and brighter, surrounding you with its comforting warmth and radiant glow. As it grows, let it also bring along feelings of love, compassion, and understanding. Step 5. Imagine your loved ones who are in conflict zones. Imagine the light extending from your heart, reaching out to them, and wrapping them in its protective embrace. even if we're not together in person. Let's still feel our connection, share our hopes, and love each other. Step 6. Now, let's bring the light back into your heart center, nice and slow. Just bring your attention back to your breath. Just take a few deep breaths and bring yourself back to the present moment. Step 7. Now, go ahead and gently open your eyes. Let's take a moment to express our gratitude for this time we have to connect and reflect. Let me tell you, meditation is so much more than just a practice. It's like embarking on a personal journey, a way to tap into the immense universe that exists within us. Soldiers find solace in it, a place of peace amidst the chaos where they can reconnect with their true selves. This meditation isn't just for soldiers. It's also for those of us who aren't in the war zones, but still deeply care about those who are. This practice acts as a bridge. It's like having a quiet conversation and sharing a peaceful moment together. During times of conflict and uncertainty, when we struggle to find the right words and feel like our actions are limited, it's the power of intention and shared consciousness that gives us hope. By doing things like this, we can go beyond physical boundaries and show our support, love, and energy to others. In the big picture of life, even if circumstances keep us apart, it's love, intention, and our shared dreams that bring us all closer. And that's how we create a world that's more compassionate, understanding, and peaceful. By being connected and sharing moments of reflection, I guess that every soldier, whether it's Yasmin or Eli, they're all motivated by those universal human emotions like love, duty, protection, and hope. The first step toward breaking down the barriers between us and them is acknowledging our shared humanity. When we really get it that every soldier is somebody's sibling, parent, or friend, we start to feel empathy, not only for our own loved ones, but for everyone. I think the external world is like a mirror, reflecting what's going on inside us. When we focus on finding inner peace, it sets the stage for creating harmony in our external world. Meditation can really be a transformative tool, as we discussed earlier. As more and more people find inner peace, it will naturally start to show in the world around us. When things get tough, hope is what guides us. When we focus on stories of resilience, of communities coming together, and of individuals rising above challenges, it not only lifts our spirits, but also motivates others to take action. Hope is such a powerful thing. It has this amazing ability to spread from person to person, just like a contagious virus. And when we take the time to nurture and share that hope with others, it's like throwing a pebble into a calm pond. It creates this beautiful ripple effect that can touch so many lives. I am going to talk about something very important. It's about how all the solution to external conflict actually starts from within ourselves. It all comes down to how we see things, what we do, and what we hope for together. When we focus on understanding and connecting with each other, when we acknowledge that we all share the same human experience, and when we create opportunities for open conversations, we can pave the way for peace. It definitely takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. You just need to be patient, keep going, and believe in the power of humanity. But you know what? Every time we take a step, show kindness, or truly understand someone, we're getting closer to a world where love and compassion are the rulers. A world where conflicts become less important compared to our shared dreams and goals. As we wrap up this conversation, let's take a moment to think about all the things we talked about. From the emotional struggles soldiers face to the captivating stories of Yasmin and Eli, to even the amazing benefits of meditation. It's clear that understanding and connection hold the key to finding solutions. I am strongly believing that even though the world can sometimes feel chaotic with all the politics and conflicts, it's important to remember that the real power lies within each of us and our shared awareness. The choices we make, the way we speak up, our intentions, and the things we do all have a powerful impact on where our future is headed. If you're worried about your loved ones in war zones, I want you to know that you're not powerless. Your love, prayers, intentions, and actions are all important parts of our shared human story. Just hold on to them, nurture them, and let them guide you forwards. To all those caught up in the conflict, whether you're a soldier or a civilian, I just wanted to let you know that every sunrise brings a fresh start and a chance for something new, even when things seem really tough. We as humans have this amazing ability to find hope, to bounce back, and to start over again. Let's keep this hope alive, not just as a wish, but as a powerful force that drives us forwards. Let's let it push us to take action, to comprehend, to connect, and to shape the world we want to see. A world where every heart discovers peace, where every child thrives under the limitless possibilities of the blue sky, and where love and understanding bring people together, no matter the differences. As we finish up our conversation today, we talked about the incredible strength of soldiers and how understanding can truly change lives. But as you know, when war happens, it's not only the soldiers who have to deal with its consequences. The tapestry of conflict is so vast, and it's really heartbreaking to think about how many families have been torn apart by it. In our upcoming episode, Families Torn Apart, we're going to talk about something really fascinating: the essence of being human. We'll take a closer look at our relationships, our loved ones, and the special connections that shape who we are. What happens when these bonds get tested, strained, and sometimes even broken by the tremors of war? How can families deal with all the chaos and find hope,